This is a bike check of my 2020 Banshee Paradox V3 mountain bike hardtail. So I've had this bike for about 2 months, a little over 2 months, and I've actually enjoyed it. It's been a blast to ride, and figure I'd just kind of go over the components I have, so to be hopefully helpful if you're kind of considering a similar bike. We'll first start off with the frame and the fork. The frame, again, is a Banshee Paradox V3. It's in a size medium. I won't go over all the geos on it, but just basically it's kind of a all-mountain enduro trail bike, and it's kind of slack. It has a 65-degree head tube angle, and the seat tube is 76 degrees. It has about a reach of 443 millimeters and a stack of 651 millimeters, and the wheelbase is 1,189 millimeters. So it's made out of aluminum, but as you can see on the seat stays as well as the chain stays, has some cutouts which kind of give some helpful compliance. So it's definitely not as harsh as your traditional aluminum frame, which has been great. Moving to the fork, I have a Fox Factory 36 fork. It's set up with 140 millimeters travel, and it has a 44 mil offset. It's Fit 4 and a 2019 model. It's been a great fork, a little overkill with the 36 millimeter diameter stanchions, but it really has provided great stability up front. The current set of wheels and tires I have are 27.5 Ringle Duroc 40, which has a 36 millimeter internal width rim, and yeah, they've been okay. I got them at a steep discount and figured I wasn't sure if I wanted to go to 27.5 or 29, and so this is kind of low cost entry just to see how the 29 or the 27.5s are on it. It's all, don't know if you say it's a 27.5 plus because I'm running 2.6 in the front and 2.5 in the rear, but for the front I have the Maxxis Minion DHR2 27.5 by 2.6. Which has been an awesome tire up front. A lot of great traction, as you can see with the knobs, just absolutely incredible. For the rear, I have the Aggressor. It's 27.5 by 2.5 wide tire, wide trail, wide tire. 60 PS. It's a 60 TPI in the rear and 120 TPI in the front. 60 TPI has a little bit greater durability. So I didn't go with the double casing because I wanted to keep it down on weight. But this has been a great tire combination. I will say I have about 350 miles on the pair, and the Aggressor does skid a little bit on some steeper climbs in wet conditions. But when I first had it, the first month and a half, it was doing awesome. But it's definitely a great combination to look at if you're thinking of Maxxis. I also have the muckless valves on there, and for sealant I'm using the Orange Seal Endurance tire sealant. For the drivetrain I went all Shimano XT, so it's basically the Shimano XT M8100 drivetrain. It's absolutely been very solid. So up front I have a 32 tooth chain ring, and the cranks are 170 millimeters. Have some nice race face blue caps on there to kind of protect the ends, as well as an MPR chain guide and bash guard on there, which has been really helpful. The chain guard, the bash guard's been absolutely really helpful. The rear, got the XT 8100 derailleur, as well as the 10 by 51 tooth cassette on the rear. Feel that's really good range for the type of trails that I'm riding. Which are kind of a little bit more cross country. So you gotta kind of, for all the descents, you gotta eat your broccoli too and climb a good bit, but nothing like super steep, but certainly some good punchy climbs and some fun descents. For the cockpit, starting off with the stem, I have a race face turbine R stem, 35 millimeter, with a length of 40 millimeters. It's connected to the race face Next R carbon fiber handlebars, which are cut to 780 millimeters, At the ends of them, I have the Ergon GE1 Evo grips, which have been actually really good. But I love the carbon fiber handlebar. It really gives a little bit of compliance for a hardtail, so not feeling as much chatter on it as well. And for the controls, I have the XT 8100 brake levers, as well as shifter. And then on the other side, I have a Shimano MT800 IL dropper post lever, and those, both the shifter and the lever, drop post lever, are connected via the iSpec EV connection, which makes really clean, uncluttered cockpit because you only have one clamp on each side, which is really nice. And then I have my little adapter to hold my Garmin. Then obviously have blue and black cable housings and hoses. But really enjoy the cockpit, very comfortable. For the seat and feet, I'm running a dropper post Fox Transfer 150 millimeter. Obviously the Kashimi coat matching the fork. And then I'm running an Ergon SM Pro saddle. And then the DMR Volt flat pedals, which I've really been very pleased with. They're really grippy, kind of have a little bit concave, and just been great combination with my 510 bike shoes. So the Shimano brake levers are connected to the Shimano XT 8120 4-piston calipers. So I have them both in the front and the rear. They've provided some really great stopping power, and I have the metal brake pads in it. In the front, I have the Shimano XTR T86S rotors. In the front, a 203 millimeter, and then in the rear, 180 millimeter. So a little overkill on the front, but it's definitely stops the front for sure. So that's the bike check of my 2020 Banshee Paradox. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching.